So I don't know if you can hear the chickens, but they are clucking to be let out of the coop. It is currently a beautiful sunrise at like 6:45 in the morning. And I just got a phone call from the post office and our new chicks are in. So get this day started very, very early before work starts. And I'm gonna run over to the post office and get our chicks. Not a bad way to start a morning. And here we are, you can hear them in the background. All right, here we are. Box of baby chicks in the car, getting ready to head home. Nice and early in the morning. So before we put the chicks into their brooder, I figured I'd show you what we got going on here. So we basically have a 4-foot by 4-foot square box that I built with some tarp on the bottom. We used this last year for the first set of chicks. Worked very well. Built a top for it that is just 1/2-inch hardware cloth with some old wood that we had laying around, and it has a hinge on one side. We have a heating lamp and a heating plate in there, so they can pick whichever one they want to be under. The chicks will stay in here for, you know, a few weeks for sure before we go put them out. You'll notice that it is pretty cold out right now, so well, that says 22. It's definitely not 22. Oh, maybe it is 22 over on this side. So it's pretty cold, right? But as soon as you start getting into the heat, you can see the temperature starts going up. And let's see if we can't get that. Let's see, well, something's going on with my thermometer here. There's no way that's only 50 degrees. Under there, should be closer to 100. Yeah, 94, 91, 90. So we just lifted the top up. It does cool off a little bit, but it gets much, much warmer in there. You can see it's 93 right there, 96. And that's where the dot is pointing underneath the light. So what they can do is they can move around, right? So if they want to be cooler, they can go out away from the light. If they want to be warmer, they can cuddle under the light. And that's what we did last year, and they were pretty good. The first couple days, we might keep them in the house in a bucket. So we'll take one of our big bins, we'll take that light and put it in the house. I can show you what that'll look like as well here in a second. But that's just to get them through, you know, they were shock in the mail for a few days, and it's probably better to give them a little bit of extra comfort and heat. So what we do is we have a light just like that one. We'll have it inside on top of the bin, and then we'll keep them in the house just for the first few days. Okay, so here's where we're gonna store them for the first couple days, right? We're gonna house them here, let them get nice and settled and acclimated. So we have some chips in the bottom of a storage tote, right? Once again, I use these for all kinds of stuff, ash storage, storage in the basement. So you can see like we have some storage in the basement here. Just anything that you want to store things in. These are just plain old bins that you can buy at like Costco or Home Depot or Lowe's. But these are big enough for chicks as well. So you can put some wood chips in the bottom, set a light on top, and then just have to put some water and food in here. So I'm gonna do the water here in a second. I'll get their food in a little bit, and then we'll get the chicks put in. All right, so we're gonna open this up and take a look. It looks like we got mostly healthy chicks. Everybody looks pretty good in here. Now they are really bundled up because they're cold, right? So we're gonna get them put into the box here. But yeah, everybody's looking pretty good, surprisingly. Looks like we got a healthy batch. We don't have any losses, which is very surprising. So I'm gonna set the camera up and start unloading them. Okay, so unfortunately I didn't hit the right button on the camera on my tripod when I started unboxing these, but we unboxed them, and we basically just took them out and put them in their temporary bin. We dipped their beak into some water just so that they would know the water's there. And we didn't have a single loss, which is great. All of them arrived alive and healthy. You can see the wife is very happy to be holding them right now. They are, you know, chicks. They're super cute. So we have a bunch of the yellow ones are the Cornish crosses. They're meat birds. So we'll be raising those on pasture in a yard for meat. And then the brown ones are additions to our egg-laying flock, and they are welsummers. Those are the same kind of birds that Becky and Beatrice are. There's also a free bird in here somewhere. I have no idea which one it is, but the McMurray hatchery will throw a free chick in the order for you. So yeah, we have one in here. I don't know exactly which one it is, but there's a free one in here. So we'll keep an eye on that and watch for it. You can see the wife is really enjoying holding these little guys while we get started. So let's put that one back so it stays warm. And you can see that they're all pretty active and pretty healthy and pretty loud, which is good. That's what you want. They're chirping and tweeting and just being happy. This one is not so loving the fact that it's being held. You want to put it back in there? We'll get them checked out over the next day or so, let them get settled. We have water in there. We'll get some food in there, and then just let them get settled. They'll be in here. We'll leave the lights on during the day so that it simulates some daylight, and then we'll keep the heat lamp on all the time, of course. And if it gets too hot in there, what they do is they just migrate to the other side. You'll notice they're not really clustered under the light right now. When we first put them in a minute ago, they were, because they really wanted to get some of that heat, but now that they're getting comfortable, they'll start moving. They're also chirping a little louder now, which is a good sign. That means that they're kind of getting acclimated. You can see that they're starting to peck down there, especially this clump right in here, starting to peck away, so we got to get them some food in there, but that's also a good sign. These guys all look really healthy. I'm very pleased with the order. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the food and the water and we're just going to put it in the cage so we can slide this over, set it down, keep the light on them to keep them warm. Oh, it does get warm. And then we'll put the food in one corner, take the chicks out of the water because boy, they really want to get in this water. Come on, little chick, get down. There we go. And then we'll put the water container in there. Watch out, guys. There we go. Okay, so here we are. The food and the water's in there. You can see they're already pecking away at the food and drinking water here on this side. They're not really working for the camera very well, but they are definitely finding what they need and getting into it. They will, of course, over the coming day or so, eat a good amount of water, or drink a good amount of water and eat a good amount of food. That was pretty normal last year when we got our chicks. The first couple days, they ate a lot. Then they kind of just settle in and will eat what they need to eat. The meat birds, from what I understand, now we've never raised meat birds before, but these Cornish crosses will grow extremely fast and will eat pretty much nonstop. So I expect them to eat even more than the other birds did. But that's okay. We'll just keep food in here and let them eat whatever they need. You can hear they're chirping away and pretty happy.
Away from the side, so
no, I keep them. I like to keep them on the side because it gives them some space in case they don't want to be hot.
True.
We could put them on a line over there if you wanted to, but just kind of trying to decide where we want to keep them inside this smaller bin right here. Now, of course, if the weather outside stayed too cold and we couldn't put them in the garage, we have more of these bins. We could always just set another one of these up and split the flock in half if we needed to. But I think this will be okay for a few days. So we're going to let these guys and girls get settled, let them eat some food, let them have a nice drink, and then probably get a little rest after what I'm sure was a stressful, traumatic couple of days, right? They've been in the mail and in a box going from, I think it's Iowa, all the way to here in Vermont. So they've definitely had an exciting 2 days, the first 2 days of their life. Let them get some rest. Here we are at day 2, and we haven't lost anybody yet. All of the meat birds are still looking good. They're all still happy, drinking, eating, and all of the egg layers are as well. Little happy down here, the one that's our free bird. Still a little weak, but definitely seems to be doing all right. Hopefully continues to hold up. I saw her drinking just a minute ago, so that's good. The rest of these guys are all looking really, really good. Everybody's doing well. Looking healthy, drinking, eating, doing everything we want to see them do. So we're very happy with that. And our cat has yet to find her way into the cage, which is good. The screen is working. Got to make sure we have a screen on there to keep her from getting to the chickens. So one thing that we do use is a little thermometer like this. It's a little laser thermometer, and I don't know if you can make it out on the screen there, but if you point it at something, it'll give you a reading. So what we like to do is take a reading under the light, and under the light there, it's pretty warm, right? But if you come over here, it's much less warm, and if you go furthest away, it's even less warm, right? Down to the 70s and 80s. So that light might actually be a little too close. See, it's pretty warm under these. Probably too warm. And over here, it's a little cooler. Yeah, I think I'm gonna raise these lights up a little bit. Last night when we first put them in and we had them there for a bit, the reading was right around 100 under the light. Now it's up to like 110, 120. That's too hot, I think. So I'm going to be raising these lights up a few inches just to cool them down a little bit. I don't want them to get cold, right? But you also don't want them to get super hot. Another thing is that with these running in here, this room is getting a little bit warmer. So I think that just the ambient temperature being warmer, of course, is causing the bins to get a little warmer. It is pretty cold outside today, but today looks to be the last of the real cold days in the forecast. Like it's going to be in the teens tonight. But after that, we don't have days, you know, with the lows, anything lower than the high 20s, low 30s. So I think in the next few days, we'll be putting these guys into the permanent, not incubator, but the permanent brooder out in the garage. I just didn't want to put them out there when it was going to be in the teens. You know, it's a little too cold to keep them out there, and even under the light, they might not have enough warmth. So I just didn't want to do that. But as you can see, they are definitely staying away from where the light is. So I think I'm going to just pull it up a little bit to lessen the effects of that light, make it a little cooler, and give them some more space to have a cooler zone, right? The bins are quite small, so because of that, we don't want to have, you know, the whole thing under the light, because if that was the case, then there would be no place for them to go to get away from it. But I think what I can do is raise the light up a little bit and then scoot the bin to this way a little bit, and then do the same thing with this one, right? Raise the light up a little bit and scoot the bin this way just a little bit, and that way these lights won't overlap the two bins, because we want to make sure that doesn't happen. But also it gives the chicks a little more space where it could be cooler if they want to go to it. But otherwise, they're doing really well. Everybody's happy. Everybody seems to be pretty healthy. Everybody seems to be doing well. Like I said, the one free chick that we got does look a little, this guy right here, does look a little lethargic still. I don't know if he's just got failure to thrive, and we don't know if he's going to make it over the next couple days, but it did seem to be drinking some water earlier, which is great. I still haven't seen it eat, whereas most of the other chicks I do see eat, and it definitely has a lot less energy than some of the others. So still not sold on that one. Might just not make it. And you can see his sisters or brothers, you know, cousins, whatever you want to call them, keep picking at him. But we'll see how that all comes out. You know, chicks tend to pick at each other. All right, everyone, just wanted to give a day 2 update on these guys, show you what they look like, show you how things are going, show you how they're doing, and check in. So here we are on day 3. Everybody's still doing good. Unfortunately, we did lose the one that we thought was probably not going to make it. We found her dead yesterday afternoon. She definitely just didn't seem to be healthy when we first got her. So it's not really a surprise that she didn't make it. But everybody else has been doing really well. I'm in here just putting some fresh chips down, giving them a little bit of, fresh bedding, because they do get a little stinky. I don't know if you can notice it. It's probably hard to tell on camera, but these guys are definitely growing slower than these guys. It really is amazing, the growth rate of these Cornish crosses. They grow so fast and they eat so much more. I'll tell you what, they go through easily twice as much food, maybe even more, than the other guys are. The water as well, they drink much more water, they eat much more food, and they're just growing much, much faster. And that does make sense, right? These guys are designed to grow super fast so that you get harvestable meat quickly. But yeah, I just wanted to give an update. Everybody's doing great. Chicks are all good. These little ones here are so cute. They look like little chipmunks. They have little stripes on their back. Look like little chipmunk stripes. These are our welsummers. What, you picking up my fingers, huh? You guys hungry? You think it's food? The little barred rocks. And then these are wyandottes. All of them are doing really well though. Gotta say, I do like these. You know, they're already a little more personable. They'll come up and pick at me and kind of play around a little bit, whereas the Cornish crosses definitely don't seem to have any interest in anything except for food and water. Now, they will let you pet them, of course, but they're nowhere near as personable. They don't seem to really care very much, you know, but they are still cute for now. Once they get older, they won't be cute anymore. You know, they look white with like really weird looking feathers, and clearly just, you know, they're not designed for like a show breed. They're designed just to put on a lot of meat, whereas these guys should all be quite pretty. All right, well, I'm gonna finish doing the morning chores of refilling their food and replacing their water for both of them. Water and food, as you can see, it does get quite dirty overnight. They'll make a big old mess. So got to take care of that at least once a day, usually twice a day. The water twice a day, the food once a day. And in a couple days, maybe 1 or 2 more days, these guys will be out in the larger brooder because, as you can see, especially the Cornish crosses, they're already getting pretty tight in here. These guys have a little more space, but not too much. Okay, well, that's day 3 update. So as you can see, we have moved into the larger brooder now. Got everybody out here. Just brought them in a few minutes ago. The temperature under the lights is right around 100, so they can find their way around. They've already started finding the food. A couple of the Cornish crosses and one of the barred rocks, I believe, was over there eating a second ago. They're all really enjoying having some space, I think. They're running around and flapping their feathers and just kind of having a good old time. So you can see that those lights are nice and warm. We do have cold nights ahead, so I'm going to leave the lights low, which will create a spot that's probably too warm for them in the middle, but that's okay. It'll just ensure that heat stays in the cage. They can, of course, move away from the light should they want a little less space or a little less heat. But you can see everybody's pretty happy. They're all drinking, they're eating, running around, doing some zoomies. It went pretty smoothly. Got them all in here. Got the 2 lights in there. This is a 4x4 brooder, so 16 square feet, which is plenty for them at their current size. When they get a little larger, of course, this will be kind of tight, but then we'll get them out into at least the Cornish crosses out into a chicken tractor that'll have some heat, supplemental heat. And then the rest of these guys will stay in here for a little longer. They grow definitely slower. I don't know how much you can make that out on camera, but the Cornish crosses are just so much bigger already than the egg layers. So it really is amazing how fast those Cornish crosses grow. They're easily 50% larger than the others at this point, and they're only, you know, that's less than a week old. So growing real quick. You see these guys just running around, having a good old time. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of give an update on that, talk about how we got them out. Just brought them up from the basement in one of the boxes that we took them home from in Tractor Supply. You know, just stuff them in there for a second. You know, as long as everybody's got enough room to move around a little bit, they're fine, just for a few minutes of movement. You know, we really do want to make sure these guys stay comfortable and stay happy. The layers, of course, just because they're going to be basically pets at the house, right? We're going to keep them as long as they keep giving us eggs. If there's roosters in there, we'll pick 1 or 2 roosters to keep, and the other ones will probably, you know, not make it. But the rest of them will, so we want to definitely give those guys, you know, a good time. And the Cornish crosses too, right? Even though we're going to eat them, they don't have a long time here at the house before we, you know, before they go to slaughter and get eaten, you know, put in the freezer. But we want them to have good lives while they're alive. I can't say that for the rest of the chicken that we buy in the grocery store. Factory farm chickens, I don't believe, probably have very good lives. So that's why we're doing this, right? We want to make sure that what we eat is, you know, humanely raised and lives a good life and gets to be a chicken. So we're gonna give these guys the opportunity to peck outside and eat grass, eat bugs, and just be chickens. So it's important to us. But yeah, just wanted to kind of give an update, show you what it looks like for the first week here. We're coming up on a week since we got these guys. They're growing really well. We haven't had any losses except for that one that came kind of sickly, so everybody's doing great. Checking in a few more days, but everything's looking good so far.